Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss another two kinds of paragraph writing. In previous video, I have mentioned you about two important paragraph writing, that is expository and descriptive. And in this video, I am going to explain the further two topics, that is narrative writing and persuasive writing. So paragraph writing we have already discussed. Paragraph is a meaningful dissection of the ideas. Through that we try to give some contextual understanding towards the reader. That is why we give the paragraph writing, and based on the purposes we can classify it into different types. Majorly we have four types. In that we have discussed already two, and in this video we are going to continue with the another two. The first thing, it is the narrative writing. So narrative writing, it's a way of telling the story. It's a way of putting the things. We have different types of narration. You have third person narration, you have first person narration. All these things are how a story is being given to the set of audience. And this narrative writing concentrates on different elements, that is mainly character development, plot structure, setting and atmosphere, and in someone's point of view, which I have already mentioned, that is third person narration. So we have so many of great writings like Jane Eyre, and then you have Tess, how the story is being narrated, how the stories are being brought to an end. These things help you to understand why narration is essential. See, we have different kinds of narration. Mainly you categorize into linear and non-linear narration. So linear narration means what? It mentions about how things are mentioned in a coherent way. For example, in types of novel, you have something called a Bildungsroman. Bildungsroman novel. Bildungsroman novels means what? A novel that covers the life, particularly from the childhood to adulthood of the protagonist. Then that novel can be called as a Bildungsroman. You take the famous example Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. It's an example for a Bildungsroman. It moves in a logical sense, moves in a coherent sense from the small age, from their childhood to adulthood. So it is what? A linear narration. Then you have non-linear narration. Non-linear narration means what? It will make the gem cuts. You cannot find a coherent way of understanding the things. Stream of consciousness technique is a better example for this. You don't find a coherent way in putting the things or the events in an order. It keeps on changed. So that is what narration, linear and non-linear narration. And other than what, you can tell a story either in a flash forward technique or in a flashback technique. So flash forward technique, where things will said in advance. From there the writer will take the readers how we have reached to that particular point. And when it comes to the flashback technique, most of the stories will do this. So when a story is starting in media res, in the middle of the text, the characters or even the readers needs to get an explanation. How do we get an explanation? The writer will give you a flashback so that you will understand why certain events are happening on that story. So these are all the way and the nuances a person should keep in their mind to narrate a story. Then characterization is very, very essential. How a character is being narrated, how you make a differentiation among the characters. The voice, the choice of words they are using plays a vital role in foregrounding the characters in a story. So these are all some essential components in narration. So it's an art of attracting the people. It's an art of creating a curiosity. That is what narration. Okay, how to be put in a very simple tone or word, how a story is being told to a group of people. That's it. That is what narrative writing. And then the next thing, it is persuasive writing. Persuasive comes basically from a word called persuade, which means to attract someone, which means what, you need to attract some person who has already set their mind on particular context. For that, what we need to do is we need to put on a lot of effort. We need to give ample examples to convince them, to convert them, or to change their ideology that they are wrong. That's it. That is what persuasive writing. You go for the context of making the people to listen towards you. That's the first step of making a persuasive writing. And persuasive writing, mostly it will be emotional, and we never know whether that context which worked for them will be right to us. That's one of the drawback of persuasive writing. But when it comes to the political speeches, when it comes to the motivational speeches, exactly persuasive works. That is where we need to use a persuasive. When you're working in a company, when you have to convince someone, you need to have the skill of persuading. Without having the skill of persuading, it is very tough for us to survive in this world at present condition. The job markets, the works we are doing, directly or indirectly, we need to persuade someone in order to maintain the good rapport among us. And that is what persuasive essay means. So what we need to do is we need to organize our thoughts. We need to know what are the words we are going to utilize. We need to know how far we are going to reach to the depth of the person who are listening to us. And then you need to know on what context you are speaking, and then what sort of statement you are making. Because if you are making a paradoxical statement, it will create a failure on your persuading skill. So you should be very clear on the thesis you are making, on the statement you are making, then how it has been organized, and then finally you reach to the conclusion part that it makes the listeners to understand is you are right. At least they need to get a convincing idea, okay, we need to listen to his or her point. For that, what we need to do is we need to find a place where you can emotionally connect with them. And emotionally connect means what, you need to get a soft corner in the part of the listener. For that, what you need, that is your words. Your words plays a vital role. How the vocabularies have been chosen by you, and in what context you are speaking. And then try to get a sort of personal connectivity with the listener, either by giving the examples which they are having interest. Someone might have interest on film, someone might have an interest on game. So what you need to do is you need to approach them by relating those examples with the context you are speaking. And then you need to take time to persuade. Don't think that it is an expository, either you accept or not, I am going to state it. Not at all so. If you are making that so, it is an expository. You are giving a factual information. If you are going to state, if you do this, you are going to do, you are going to get this, that means what, it is expository. But persuasive is something you need to speak, you need to write until you convince the person who is sitting in front of you. Without that, you can't make that. So what you need to do is we need to have a clear cut understanding, and never give a gap to someone who never lends to your view. That means what, you need to speak the things that are very right. And though people are asking you some sort of cross questions, they are refuting, means what you need to do is you need to give an ample example. You need to prove them that they are not giving a exact answer like you. You need to prove them that their your answer is better than theirs. So always believe this context. In persuasive writing, you need to win. There is no other way. You need to win, you need to attract, you need to bring them to an understanding, yes, you are right. For that, what you need to do is you need to organize your mind. You need to know on what context you are speaking. If you are making all these things in a very proper sense, then it's very clear you can easily persuade the others. It's an art of speaking, to be put in a very simple thing. Rhetoric means what? Art of speaking. But when it comes to persuasive writing, you need to know how the words should be used towards your listeners, and what sort of ample examples you need to give, and people should believe that you are right, your ideas will be right, so that you can persuade others towards your context. So that's it. Thank you. We will discuss in next in another video.